Hello everyone, my name is Alexis Michelle and we are here live at What Do Men Want Part 2. I have with me Marcus Graham, I have with me Sean Xavier Smith, and on the end we have Pastor Karan Cole, and tonight we'll be delving in and talking to the ladies to get some insight about what it is that men really want and what they're looking for in women. So Marcus, we left off the last time I think when we were talking, and you said that we should start off, the next thing that we actually should touch was really delving into where a woman is and her development and that kind of thing like that. Do you want to finish explaining that?
Sure. What I was saying was not necessarily just pertaining to the women, because when you're looking for someone to relate with, you have to be able to relate with them in some manner. So you have to look at where your life is and where that person's life is. So whenever you take it from that perspective, are you both ideally looking for the same things in life? Do you have the same destination in mind? Do you have the same desires about how you plan to get to that destination in mind? I'm recently married for the first time in my life, and it's because I was waiting to find someone who had the same destination, maybe not the same map, because our walks are individual walks, but we're looking for someone who's a companion that's going to share, because we have the same desires. We want to get, so if I take a wrong turn, maybe she has one that's better, or vice versa, so we can work together as a unit. And that's what a relationship has to be, a single unit. You're not just you and I, it's us, it's we, it's me and you together trying to reach this thing together.
Sean, you want to?
Yeah, I think part of the issue is, I was thinking about this earlier, how that a lot of people, men and women, think about how we look together or the things we can do together, instead of being like, what are we going to become? You know what I mean? What are we going to become? Not the stuff we do together, not how we look. Y'all make a cute couple or whatever. But what are we going to be together should be an issue. And like you said, if we're going in the same direction, it makes the path a lot easier. Because there's going to be bumps in the road. That's a guarantee. There's going to be bumps in the road. But it makes it easier if you know you're both going in the right direction.
Pastor Cole?
I think I really have to piggyback on what Sean just said, because I think we had this conversation today. It's more than what we can accomplish sometimes, and it's good to develop in what you can accomplish, but it's also very important to develop on who you all are together. Because guess what? If we fail in our accomplishments, that doesn't mean that we should fail who we are together. So,
exactly.
And I think you're right. People look at that superficial stuff. Well, you all will do this together, great. You all can do this together. And in fact, I heard someone say, couples doing business together is the new sexy. But the reality is, if you're really not into each other, you can still have the greatest business and still fail privately.
So listening to what it is that you all are saying about this whole us thing, this us ministry, us doing it together, what is it that you think women who struggle in that, what do you think that they should start to do to kind of redirect their behavior, or what it is that they should begin to look for if they find themselves struggling with that?
I think realistically, first and foremost, as an individual is where you need to start, okay? And you have to start knowing, okay, what it is I really want to accomplish, what is my individual purpose, right? And I think once you start to realize what your individual purposes are, and you take those steps to accomplish your individual purpose, then whoever comes into your life should actually be a complement to purpose and not a hindrance to purpose. And I think that's part of the issue, because again, we discussed, in fact, we were just discussing a little while ago, marriage is supposed to be about purpose. So, I mean, if you're thinking left and I'm thinking right, we're not even in agreement. We don't have the same functions and the same purposes. So the first thing really is to identify what your individual purpose is. And it doesn't have to be from this spiritual place, or I'm anointed to do this, or I'm called to do it. In my heart of hearts, who am I supposed to be? I'm a teacher. I'm a musician. I've got gifts to do, but this is my heart's desire. And how does this person, even if they don't do what I do, how do them being in my life complement what I do? How does what I do complement what they do? So together we can achieve mutual purpose. And you won't be able to do that until you identify who you are and your purpose.
Denzel Washington, I'm sorry, Sean.
I was trying to be on my best behavior.
You was looking, I was like, that looked like like training day over there. I can't say that. King Kong.
All right, you. On that note, and like you were saying, it's correct. The individual has to know exactly where they're going. A woman, when she's being found, if you will, by a man, she has to know whether or not she fits into what God has called this man to do. What, even working on what He's calling for her to do as a woman. So if she's struggling, a lot of times what I find is there are hidden issues that haven't been dealt with, and a relationship will bring to surface everything that's been deep down inside. So if there's some type of insecurities, if there's some lack of faith, if there's unconfessed sin, those things will begin to show up and cause problems in the relationship. So that what we are doing together will become a problem because I'm really hiding. I got all this other stuff going on, and I really can't. I don't feel comfortable because of my insecurities talking to you about it. You know what I'm saying? That's where a lot of that lies. You can't talk to who you're walking with or supposed to be walking with. Then you're in trouble. The scripture says, how can two walk together unless they can walk? Agree. So if there's no agreement there, not testing.
Just real briefly, because you said it has to be the individual, but it has to be also that preparedness of the individual. You have to know who you are. You have to identify that for yourself. No one can tell you who you are. You have to identify who you are and prepare for the things that you desire in your life. If you want a loving, comforting, compassionate person, then you need to work out those things in your own life so that you can comfort and be compassionate to yourself. Accept those little idiosyncrasies about yourself that other people talked about, they treated you bad because of. You face them and embrace yourself. That I'm perfect the way I am. God made me this way. If there's things that I need to change, I'm going to change them because I want to see myself in a different place. I want to perfect something in my own life, not because I want to be with this person I'm going to perfect it, because then you'll only perfect it as long as they're there. And as soon as they turn their back, you're going to be who you were before. That's all.
Okay. So in listening to you all, this is what came to my mind. I know culturally, socially, because what I kept hearing was the word safe. You want to feel safe as a man. You want to feel secure as a man in your relationship. And so I know the taboo is, men don't need that, whatever. So is it safe to say that as women want to feel safe, a man also wants to feel safe with whoever he's with? In the sense of his destiny, in the sense of who he is and his inner being. So is it safe to conclude that?
Absolutely.
Samson and Delilah. Samson wanted to feel safe with his wife. He laid his head in her lap. He told her his secrets.
Lord,
so he wants someone who is he's gonna be able to share his deepest, innermost, darkest, whatever with, but not expect for them to use it against him.
Wow.
Yeah, that argument that come up.
Lord have mercy. Well, you do what you're supposed to do in the first place. Oh, I'm sorry, flashback. Okay, sorry.
I think also along that line is this. Remember this. The Bible said that Adam and Eve were both naked and not ashamed. And I gotta really feel safe to strip in front of you. I'm not talking about taking off my clothes. I'm talking about taking off my manhood. Allowing my guard to be down. Allow you to see my weaknesses, my emotions, my feelings. Allow you to see my failures. And you can't just strip down your manhood in front of somebody who either does not care enough or have the ability enough to turn around and hold on to those things, because those things they're essential. Because the last thing you need is a damaged man. Whoa, look at this.
Oh, wow, right in the middle of the thingy. But
Happy birthday. Happy
thank
birthday.
you. Okay, wait a minute, y'all. Just gonna blow out the candle,
Blow out the
okay?
candle.
Just wait a minute. Thank y'all.
So what are you, 21 today?
I'm 18.
Not even legal. I can say,
That's good. I don't need to be legal. Right.
But reality, go back. If I'm going to strip down, or if a man is going to make himself transparent in front of a woman, it's got to be somebody he really can trust. And I can tell you now, for me, in my mid 40s, I find myself, and I said on the last call, I'm more tender now than I've ever been in my life. And guess what? It's a serious adjustment for me because I didn't know this would happen to me. So I always thought I was this dude with this heart, and now I'm realizing I got feelings and emotions, and I'm looking at myself, am I soft? I mean, you start going through this mental because you didn't know what would happen to you. And so now that I've gotten to this place now, I have to be very careful. I better be able to trust you because I'm going to tell you everything inside of me.
Right.
Because watch this, what happened. Wow, here's a revelation. Adam told her so much, including what God told her, that the first opportunity she had to share it with someone else, she did.
Wow. So what you saying? No, I'm just so what you trying to say?
Well, yeah.
I'm just playing. Okay, Sean. I mean,
security is a big deal for both parties. When a woman can convince by actions and words that this man can trust his heart with her, just to take from Proverbs 31, this all came to me earlier, how that she went out and bought fields without consulting him. But guess what? She had free reign to do so because his heart was safely trusted in her. She could go out and do whatever because he knew that she would not damage her home. You know, the wise woman builds, but a foolish one will tear it down. We talked about that, I think, on the last call. So security is a big deal. You say safe, I'm thinking about safe house when the dude kept going from house to house to house to house because that particular house was not secure. And a lot of times you will find that they'll run from house to house to house, but once they find that house that they are secure in, they're there. They are there and they can open up and as he said, strip and reveal who they are and not have to be everybody else perceiving them on the outside.
And women often wonder how that other woman got in there.
oh, say that.
She was
right
a place of sanctity for him outside of where he was supposed to be, where he thought he was going to be. Somebody else gave him that sense of security. And he doesn't have to hear all of that other stuff.
What other stuff?
The other stuff. We're just going to term it the other stuff to be PR. But, you know, I mean, there's other stuff. You get other stuff from us, too. It's not a one-way street.
I just want you to make me play for the people. I don't want no confusion, right? I don't want nobody to be confused. What you talking about? What stuff? I'm just saying, that trust me, somebody watching this gonna say, what is he talking about?
I mean,
I'm just
like,
doing what they would do.
When we were talking about agreement, that you have to be agreed, that you have to have the same type of understanding with each other. You know, if you don't understand each other and there's a conflict that arises, you two talking to each other isn't going to solve it because she doesn't understand him and he doesn't understand her, so there's a conflict. And so rather than sit there and keep getting bitter, he looks for an exit. And he looks for a place where he can go vent, where he's not going to have to worry about anything coming back at him while he's putting out. So that's the other stuff that I'm talking about. But like I said, it goes both ways sometimes.
Just tell the truth, man. The other woman gonna listen. The one he got at home won't.
Basically.
Well, see,
Wow, I don't have anything to do with that.
Did I say that?
But we said this was raw and
And she didn't judge, did she?
yeah.
I'm just saying, don't be on my Facebook page. That's all.
We send them directly to you.
No.
But you know,
go ahead.
there's a reason why I've learned that the scripture says that a nagging woman and continual dropping just alike.
Yeah.
I believe that's part of
What he's saying.
Yeah, that's
Right.
part of what he's saying.
That got on my nerves, and I ain't even a dude.
Because what I believe God knows what he's talking about when he says stuff. I think we need to pay more attention to what he's saying rather than Bishop so and so, Apostle so and so, evangelist, if they're not saying what he's saying. But that is so true that they are just alike. It has to be. It's in the book. So, but I believe that's part of the stuff.
That's about that contentious woman, doesn't it?
Okay, so
Better to live in the corner of a rooftop
Then be
in a wide house.
I got nothing to do with that.
What you saying is better to be in an apartment by yourself than a 5-bedroom, 2-bath in a something with a
Toes curl.
Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. So you can't be that submissive at the same
So you're
time.
not finished. Okay, so it's my turn now. Okay, I'm the only woman right here right now. Okay, amen. Okay, so you all were talking, we talking about this whole trust thing and that kind of thing like that. So a lot of times in relationship, and whether it's done unconsciously, whether it's done, because we wasn't taught properly. Do you think that trust should be something that you just should hand over, or is trust something that, and I don't want to say it should be like earned from a negative place, but I think it should be given in bits and pieces instead of just putting your whole self out there as an individual. And from this perspective, as a man, because sometimes a woman may feel like, well, this and whatever, well, he's not doing that or he's not doing that, but at the same time, he might be operating from that place of, you know what, you need to earn this trust, and not making you do things that's crazy or that kind of thing like that. But I think trust, for me personally, I don't think it's something that just should be handed over and put in anybody's hands. I think you need to see if somebody's going to handle you responsibly. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I was having a conversation with someone not too long ago, just the other day as a matter of fact, and when you find yourself in those situations where trust is not in place, it makes you tend to reserve yourself. And that's when you know that you either have a situation that's going to be a problem or a situation that's going to require dialogue. Because if you have to restrain or hold back your ability to show emotion and give emotion and love freely, then they're saying to yourself, listen, I'm not safe in this particular place. And so now you do have to spoon feed that person. And it's something, it's like even when you first meet somebody, I think, of course, as believers, we always want to get to the marriage part, but until you start, not even dating, the word is court. So when you start courting somebody, it's really the process of learning. And if I'm going to teach you who I am and reveal to you who I am, I've got to be able to trust you. So you're right, Alexis, I believe. You got to give them in bits and pieces. Well, why didn't you tell me that? Listen, I didn't trust you enough to tell you that then. And according to your behavior right now, I don't think I need to tell you anything else.
Right.
Wow.
That is real stuff, man. Straight no chasing. But I will say this, to add to that, there's a meter that when you first meet someone, you don't really trust them, but then again, you don't not trust them because you haven't spent enough time or have enough experience with that person. But as the relationship goes along, whether it's, hey, how you doing, friendship, as you say, leading to courtship, that trust meter can sway one side or the other. But you fluctuate. And I don't know if but for a man, we're really looking to negate the I can't trust her part until
Give me a reason.
Give me a reason not to trust. There's a book called Walk Out Woman, where it's talking about how women just leave or they threaten to leave. Now, I will say this. The moment a woman threatens to leave a man, the relationship changes.
Talk in the camera and say that again.
The moment you tell that man that you're leaving, the relationship changes. Even if you stay 15 years after you said it, the relationship just changed. Now he's maybe looking for another place to put his heart. Because you already just shared exactly. You just told him it's not safe.
So what do you think, Marcus?
I'm not even going to touch them.
Well,
Let that one go. Because it's been said. It's been said. Do I trust you? I don't know you. But at the same time, I have to find a way to convey who I am. And in me conveying who I am, I'm going to give you the surface of who I am I'm going to give you that without knowing whether I can trust you. I'm going to give you the surface, but the intricate details of my life, my heart story, my life story, the soul that made me who I am that you approached or that I approached you with, I don't know if I can tell you what I went through to get to you and you still stay there. Because if I tell you about the downfalls, the pitfalls, the shortcomings that I had, you might want to hold them against me like most people do people anyway. I'm coming to you and I'm a different person. I learned from my mistake, but are you going to judge me because of that right now? I don't know if I can trust you not to judge me. So I need to come at you from a place where it's level. I'm going to give you as much as I can, but the intricate details, I'm going to have to walk you into that, because like you said, that meter is going to go one way or the other, and if that meter starts going the wrong way, then me as a man, I'm not even going to waste my time anymore, because I know where I'm going, I know what I desire. So if you start going left on me while I'm trying to go right, we parted ways.
That's a little bit. I think one of the things we really have to realize is in 2012, there are beautiful faces all over the place. There there are beautiful bodies all over the place. But there are very few places where an individual man and or woman will find a safe place. And a safe place is better than a beautiful place all day long. And so women spend a lot of time making their face beautiful, but not making their life safe. Because I'm telling you, I can always find a pretty face, but I can't always find a safe place to lay my feelings and my heart down. So I think a lot of times as women, as you're thinking about relationships and marriage and everything, are you someone that is trustworthy? And not about are you trustworthy with studying and building your career, getting your degrees, all that. Are you trustworthy? Are you have the ability to keep a secret? Do you have an ability to know my weaknesses? Do you have, even at the point if we decided not to work out, is that something you're now going to take and make public? Will my life become a Facebook story because you're not happy anymore?
I'm going to let that marinate.
That's serious. That's serious.
That's how you get good flavor. 2 days.
2 days marination.
I don't know. Y'all have said so much stuff, and I like want to go so many ways. But I think the question that I will put on the table now is, you know, a lot of times as women, and just listening to you all as women, you know, sometimes we can't live in that hope ministry. You know, hope he get it, hope he understand, hope he come around, just like living in that place. So what are the, you know, what are the signs that this particular man really wants to be with a woman, that he really wants to be with me as a woman? What is the, and I mean, and to really go to that next level. You know, I've been dating him for a year. You know, we're serious, we do everything together, you know, everything. But you know what? He still hasn't said, you know what, let's talk about really building our life together. And I'm not saying even getting married tomorrow, but even the conversation of it. So what should she just say, this is not the man for me? Should she just conclude that this is not a real man? Or, you know, or should she remain in that hope ministry?
I'm just making it up.
I'm just admitting. I mean, because I'll talk on it, but
Go ahead, you first.
because what I'll say about the hope ministry is this: is a lot of times people go into a situation with expectations. Whenever you go in with expectations, you're setting yourself up to get hurt because this person doesn't know what you're expecting from them totally. That's why you have to have that communication and that understanding on the front side. So if you're with him after a year and y'all aren't getting married, it's because y'all didn't discuss it on the front side. You didn't say to him and mean it, because what you were asking was about the hope.
Wow.
Before the hope, his actions are going to tell you whether he's going to be that man or not. Not the things that he said to you. His actions are going to prove it over and over again. You're going to be walking with him and he's going to do something and you're going to be like, yeah, that's him. You're just going to know it because his actions are going to dictate it. But if you don't discuss those things on the front side, and that's what most people do in marriage, they do it for the superficials. What can we bring to each other? What can we have together as a unit? Oh, our children will look like this. All of those superficial type of things is what people look at instead of getting to the internals. And those internals are the things that you have to discuss with each other, which is why I said somewhere at the beginning that trust has to be a level playing field. And it's not about everything that I've done. It's about who I am, who I need to present myself to you as, because this is who I am. And we can talk about who I was later, you know, because that has nothing to do with where I'm trying to go with it. But if a person says something to you, like if you're talking to someone in the beginning and you say something about marriage and they, you know, start to get like this, all of that stuff initially, then, you know, you might still take it a step further, but you have that caution to know that, am I going to invest a year in somebody who gets uncomfortable with the mention of the word, you know? So you have to make those decisions early on, because ultimately it's your life.
Right.
And you're accountable for your own life. You can't blame it on the guy who was in your life 3 years that you feel like you wasted your life on. You wasted your life. He didn't waste it. He wasn't going to do it.
And he told you from the door.
Okay. So, but sometimes, in fairness, sometimes some guys don't say that they're not going to do it.
Action.
Man did say action.
Action. You have to pay attention to a person. You have to pay attention to a person, because if I say to you, you know what, I am a multi-millionaire, I have homes, and I jet set, and I do this, and I do this, and every day you see me, I'm on Facebook.
He could be, listen, no, he could be on Facebook from the jet.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is,
every time you go to
if
eat, you gotta pay, but he's a jet set millionaire.
Oh,
but,
that ain't-
and also people with that type of mind don't sit on trivial things too much, you know. And not saying that don't do Facebook or anything like that. I do, but you know what I'm saying is if you're looking at a person on a certain level, there's things that people do on a certain level. You can't be down here and do what I do up here.
Oh, say that again.
Not
Say that
religiously.
again.
I mean, not over and over. You can't be down here and be up here at the same time. You're going to be one place or the other. Or, you know, the Bible says, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. So if sometime I talk to you, you're happy, and then the other 30% I talk to you, you're angry, not even upset or worried, you're angry, then there's something that's not stable there. So I have to pay attention to you to see who you are. Not because of who you tell me, but if I tell you and then watch my actions, or let my actions dictate who I am. If you want to learn me, if you really want to know who I am, don't ask me anything about myself. Watch.
Giselle?
Well, I will say this. She should pray.
She should pray.
She should seriously pray. Pray for discernment. Because there are natural signs that a man will give you, like, you cool to hang out with, and that's it.
But you ain't the one.
You ain't.
Ask me about a one.
Yeah. You have to really, as a woman, I would encourage them to pray. Seek God. Don't look to be somebody's rib. You're a spare rib. Don't be a spare rib. You want to be with that God, that man that God has designed for you to be. So your marriage can have purpose. You can walk together in agreement. You can go to the same places. I know that if I share your secret, I'll endanger this relationship, so I won't do that. The Bible says that the woman that fears the Lord, she shall be praised. Who doesn't? Her kids and her husband. They the one that lift her up and praise her because of the type of woman that she is. So my one word of counsel is to just find out. But that man will give you signs that he ain't that. He come drop when he got to drop, clothes on out the door. He ain't that one.
Don't be so super spiritual
Right.
that you
Right.
can't perceive what's happening in the natural.
Right.
Oh Lord, I'm believing, and the Lord is showing you every day that ain't him.
Please, Lord.
That ain't him. That ain't him. But I believe. I'm believing.
Making 50s.
Yeah, making, and it's not going to happen because he has to. God doesn't force us to love him as individuals.
Right.
He's not going to force a person to love you. He's not going to force a person to fit your design of what you want a person to be in your life. That's why it has to start from an individual standpoint. Because once you learn how God loves you, that makes everything plain. You can look at your life and say, but God still loved me in spite of myself. God still took me with the stuff that I don't tell nobody. And I'm supposed to love my spouse the way that Christ loved the church. Imperfect. Killed me. But I love her that much. That's what you want. And he's going to show you that. His heart is going to reflect the heart of God. If you're a Christian, you know, I don't mean to cut anybody out, because if you're not a Christian, a person is going to show you who they are. And being agreed doesn't mean that you both believe in the Bible. You can both believe in the Quran or whatever it is that you believe. But to the core of it, you have to be on one accord. You have to be tied together with each other on something that brings you back to the same foundation. So that if everything fails, we always have the same foundation to build from again.
Just very briefly, I think you brought up the word perfect, and I think we need to understand this. When you start to meet somebody and you start to deal with somebody, you got to remember, ladies, that this Mr. Perfect is not perfect, but he may be perfect for you.
Right.
Mrs. Right may not be right, but she may be right for you. And so if you understand that there is no perfect person, but there is somebody that's perfect for you, And you know when you're getting there, and he knows when they will love you, flaws and all. They love you, they love you when your credit's jacked up. They're gonna love you when you're living in a big house. They're gonna love you if you snore, if you never cut your toenails. They're gonna love you. I mean, you got all of that stuff because all that stuff means something. Is something wrong?
No, it's not a flashback. That's it. I'm gonna need you to cut your Sorry.
But you understand, I mean,
we
with
taking
the
a
reality,
field trip today.
the reality is this again. We and men do it too. Men will look, man, she's fine. She got this and she's shaped like this and all this stuff. And guess what? But she still got flaws. She's that chick that don't clean the house, even though she look clean all the time. Or she's that, whatever. And so once we understand that the person, they may not be perfect and they're not going to be perfect because we're not perfect, but can our imperfections make a solid relationship? Because I need to love everything about you. Because if I don't, those are the things we're going to have problems with. You need to love everything about me. Because if not, those are the things we're going to have problems with. And we need to be honest and have those dialogue. Okay, I don't like the fact that you don't cut your toenails. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, boo. I'm going to take you to the place. When I go get my feet done, I'm going to get your feet done. Because there's a solution if you have the dialogue. That's right.
And Lord, please, whoever he is that's out there, please let him want to go to the pedicure.
My brother said pray.
He said pray. Pray, Lord, please.
Hey, some sisters need to go too now.
Man.
We on the men business right now.
And shade them legs. Shade them legs. In 2012, it ain't cool to have them legs.
She had on them nice red bottoms. It was like this.
Curled up. The toes were touching the ankles.
Y'all wanted to know what we thought?
This is what we get down.
I mean, just don't hold back now. I mean, go ahead and what else you don't like?
We're gonna take this show on the road.
Yes, sir.
So, is anything else that women need to know that men don't like?
Oh my gosh. You won't even go there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not even about that as much as it has to be about this in all seriousness about relationships and dealing with the opposite sex. It has to be about a self-awareness and understanding of yourself and what it is that you desire. It has to be that you have met somebody who understands you and accepts you for who you are and isn't going to judge you because of what you don't have, what you do have, what you did or didn't do. There has to be an understanding, there has to be a self-awareness, a self-worth even. Because a lot of times sisters do. They set the bar, but then they start to compromise. They start to compromise here because, ooh, he fine, but his credit is jacked up, but he fine. So they got the fine dude, but economically, what is he gonna do for you? And not to say that you shouldn't.
Oh, he gonna put it on her.
Well, because that's all. But see, that's the only scope. That's the only scope that she's looking at. So in being true to yourself, you have to look at the total package. You have to do the whole equation. How is this gonna get me to here? Because okay, here he is right here, and this is what he has right here. He has the potential of this over here because he has these talents, these gifts, or what have you, to get over here, but is he applying himself in this area of his life? Is this something that he's focused on? Is this even a desire of his? You have to, that communication is so important, and it's not just communication, it's real communication. It's not the I'm gonna meet your representative. Because we're out at the bar having a drink and I'm so and so and this is what I do and blah blah blah. But I live at home with my mom.
Wow.
You understand what I mean? You don't know that because you met my representative, and I came off real well because I've been practicing this. Men are hunters. We had a discussion about most of our lives. Men have gotten the things that we